Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by. So, many people who are into Mooji see Mooji as an extension of Ramana's teaching. And, so here's the thing. If you want to follow the path prescribed by Ramana Maharshi, there is, in essence, no clear, direct path prescribed by Ramana Maharshi because Ramana didn't teach to groups of people. He didn't write books. Well, he wrote one book, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Hey, dude. So, Ramana Maharshi guided individuals. Mooji, on the other hand, makes mass prescriptions to the masses. So the paths are completely different. One could say the path of Ramana Maharshi, since Ramana is not in a body and we can't go and seek his guidance, is to study the teachings and figure out exactly where we are on the path. Have we met the pre-qualifications yet? Is our mind primarily sattvic? Ramana himself once to one person said, do whichever method you think is most easy. And that might be good advice for all of us until we're eventually led, until we're eventually prepared for self-inquiry. Mooji, on the other hand, is Mooji's path is basically do like one of four things. Practice self-inquiry, go to Mooji satsangs, worship Mooji, and go to more Mooji satsangs. It's night and day. I don't even have words for how different what Mooji is teaching and what Ramana taught, because Ramana didn't teach. Now, if he didn't teach groups, he taught individuals. Now, if you feel really called to Ramana Maharshi's path, then the book I would recommend, I didn't know I was going to do this video. It just came out spontaneous. One moment. If you feel, once you've realized Mooji's a fake, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? That'll be my next video, what to do once you realize Mooji is a fake. Here's the book to check out by Ramana Maharshi, Upadesa Saram. The reason why this book is so important is because it starts people at the beginning of the path. So let's take a look at the first thing Ramana Maharshi says in this book. It's about 20 verses. And I particularly like this edition because it has a nice commentary. Verse 1, recognize that you are the self. That's not where Ramana starts, because that's not where Advaita Vedanta starts. That's where Neo-Advaita starts. Here's where Advaita Vedanta starts. The results of action flow according to the law of the Creator. Is karma action, karma God? No, it is insentient. Verse 2, the fruits of actions are transient. Action causes one to fall into the ocean of further action. It obstructs the goal. Verse 3, action dedicated to God and done without desire purifies the mind. It aids liberation. So unlike all the Neo-Advaita jokers out there, and Mooji I think of as kind of the king joker, Ramana starts right off with the most basic teaching, karma yoga, dedicating the fruits of our actions to God and not desiring anything. First, you have to cultivate that spirit, because Advaita Vedanta is a renunciatory path. It's a path of reducing desires. So if you skip right to self-inquiry, but you haven't reduced desires, you haven't cultivated a lack of interest in things, you're just going to be at war with yourself 24/7. And that's why people get addicted to Mooji videos and going to Mooji satsangs and worshiping Mooji, because because he's not a teacher of Advaita Vedanta. He's really, at this point, he's just doing his own thing, and he's claiming a connection to Ramana Maharshi, which really doesn't exist. Like Mooji claiming that what he's doing is connected to Ramana Maharshi would be like, like, let's say I had a teacher who went and learned football from a master football player, like the best football player in the world. Like my teacher went and learned from him, and he learned a little bit. Like he was like okay at football. Oh my God, this is such an interesting video. There's my foot. I didn't raise my foot to bless anyone. So let's say I have my teacher like went to the best football player in the world, and he learned a little bit. Like he became like kind of sort of okay at football, and then he learns a few moves, and then he goes along and he says, "What I'm teaching is true football," and then he passes it along to a bunch of people, and then a bunch of people, like me being one of them, like I learn like one move. I get really good at one move, and he's like, "You are you are a master football player now," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I go off and teach. Well, that's basically what happened with Ramana to Papaji to Mooji. So sure, you can say what Mooji is doing is teaching something connected to Ramana Maharshi, but then you could say that, like a fifth grade, a fifth grader on a football team is playing the same sport as like an Olympic level football player. They are, but they're actually not.